Alright, so for those of you who do not know, this is Atomicrops. It is an amazing game that I do not think is getting enough attention, and I just want to showcase to everyone right now. It's in early access right now on the Epic Games Store, and it is just phenomenal. And I just kind of feel bad that a lot of people are just pigeonholing it because of the association with the Epic Games Store. But I really think that's unfair to the developers because of it being such an amazing game. And I've been getting so much enjoyment out of it, and I just kind of want to showcase it to people who may have not been exposed to it, not really know what it is, or are not sure like in what state of early access it's at. Let me just say right now, it's an incredibly put together game. The main menu is a sort of little area that you walk around in. Up here we take the helicopter to start a new game. Each game has a year cycle with 4 seasons. You start in spring. As you can see, it gives me 4 potato seeds, so I'm just going to till this soil here and then plant these potatoes in here. Over there is a mole that's instantly going to try to ruin my day, because this game does not give you any breaks and constantly tortures you. So yeah, even on your farm you are already getting shot at and have to defend yourself right in the first minute of the game, 10 seconds even. The good part about these moles is they give you shit, literally and figuratively. So the shit you use as fertilizer to help your plants grow. Plants that get fertilizer used on them kind of have this like vibrating glow to them that make them worth more when you sell them on the market. Also, you constantly have to water them, and as you can see, another cool part about the growth of plants in this game is if you have a 2x2 of the same crop, they take my hand off the keyboard for a second, they grow into a bigger crop that is worth more than the 4 of them combined. And just like the smaller crops, you can use fertilizer to make it glow and be worth almost twice its value as well. So we're just gonna uproot that, and there you go, 48 beans in the bank once we survive. So now I'm gonna show you the exploration type part of this game, and yeah, we're already getting bombarded. It, as well as being a twin stick shooter, since you shoot at a rotation and walk around, it is also a bullet hell, and it gets to be a lot to manage right off the bat. Even in the first area, they are really not giving you any breaks. It's just constant bombardments of stuff with multiple enemies that you kind of have to get used to right away. And I already got hit. It's amazing, just even with the amount of time I've spent so far trying to get used to this game, I still get tripped up. And with a roguelike like this, I mean, a lot of the growth that you're going to get in it is just getting used to enemies, learning from your mistakes, and growing. But an important note about that is that when you die, it doesn't feel like it's anyone's fault besides your own. And I think that's a thing that a lot of games get wrong nowadays. They make artificial difficulty, whereas it feels like you had no choice, you know. If you were better, it didn't matter if you were better, you just died. It had nothing to do with skill or learning. And I think with roguelike that it's really important to keep people wanting to go back for more, because they feel like they're better and they can do better. So already, I think, what was that, 4 minutes? I'm dead. So we have to start another game. This time around, I'm going to do the strategy that I normally do and just go straight into exploring, just because in the early game it pays to have more upgrades right off the bat, because they will save time and make things a little safer for you walking around. It is important to have money because of the weapon system, which I'll explain later, but just as far as the stuff that you can get, it just makes it all worthwhile. As you can see, I just found a heart and instantly lost another heart, but I kept this growing slot from the heart I got, and my container emptied right below it. So this is an interesting thing that the game does, whereas opposed to games similar to it like Isaac, you don't automatically lose your growing container when you take damage. You lose a slot in the container below it. It takes 5 hearts to make a full container, grow a full container rather, and it's very difficult to do because you have to take no damage, since when you get another heart, it's going to fill the empty container that you've already lost. So I really like how that works. I think it's fun, and it gives you more incentive to not get hit, whereas other games would have you devise different types of strategies. I don't know, I think that's the fun part to this. It's such a simplistic game that... Please. It's such a simplistic and compact game, but there's just so much in it that just creates so many gameplay elements that wrap in back on themselves. Like the fact that I am getting a lot of seeds from exploring, which come back to growing better crops at the farm, since to increase your yield rate and make more money, you have to have 4 types of seed at once. It really pays to have extra seeds and making sure you're making the most. Also, of course, I'm getting the fertilizer from exploring. That bee popped out of nowhere, and that's fine. There's a few things that bother me. A lot of them you can tell are it's like just early access bugs, but I really have only bumped into like maybe 2 that I feel kind of break up the game for me. Like the enemies spawning randomly, mainly the bees and stuff, and then the hitboxes of the buffaloes can be a little wonky sometimes. Okay, so we have explored, I think, this area almost completely, so we're almost... It might help if you just search Atomicrops right now in the search bar up there and find someone who's better at playing this and has actually beat the game. Because I have not yet. It's just too difficult. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not good enough at bullet hells and I can't pay close enough attention to survive. I don't know. Whatever. But we're gonna give this another whack. Here we go. So this is a little pigeon hut that has the scrolls of the game that are kind of single-use items that do various things for your farm. So we have the Lesser Blood Rain and then the Lesser Rain Cloud. I'm gonna do the Rain Cloud because watering my crops is a bitch, and I think that's the worst part about growing stuff, is having to maintain them and keep them alive. It's basically about trying to break down your time and use it as efficiently as possible. And exploring like this, getting items, makes it so you will have more time later on to do other things, you know. Okay. So on every area there is a golden treasure map that leads you to kind of a mini boss. A stump mini boss that gives you a greater treasure that is usually amazing and kind of a godsend. As you can see, I'm getting swamped because I didn't clear the area first and just kind of ran into it. Oh, I got the same power up as before. One of the other complaints I have about the game is just not being able to read items and finding out what they do. Items do kind of disappear, so it's kind of like you have to get them as soon as possible, and and not to mention time is of the essence too, so it's just a terrible combination of stuff. So I got the wood chipper, which is an offensive alt attack that kind of mows down enemies and turns them into fertilizer. Extremely useful for bosses and just clearing areas, especially when you're getting swamped like I did a little bit ago and couldn't do anything against. Also, it's important to keep note that a lot of the enemies that you run into will try to follow you. So you could start a new day and all of a sudden your farm is being attacked by like 7 buffalo or some shit. So it's kind of important to like just kill everything you run into within means, you know. So I'm gonna get the chicken again just because I barely getting any fruit. Oh boy, I'm loving it. Whew. Yeah, this is a rough day for my runs. I gotta say, the farthest I've made so far is to season 3. So admittedly not too far. Definitely not close to beating the game, I'd say. I'm not sure how many years are in a full run through of beating the game, so we'll hopefully find out one of these times. Oh god. And then Mingo that I'm saving right now isn't a pet, but it gives you rose seeds. Rose seeds are your main way of getting back health, since you can't use normal coins to buy hearts. You need to grow roses and then use the roses to get hearts. And it also is your way into getting your romantic interested in you. I think this is a fun part of the game just because in a lot of these farming games like Stardew Valley, they do have that romance option. And even though the genres don't really make sense with romance, it functions really fun in this game, just because of the whole post-apocalyptic essence of it. It just kind of makes cool, like, yeah, I don't know, just to have a demon girlfriend, it's fine. It's fun, it's goofy, it fits with the tone of the game perfectly. A lot of this game, they weave all these things together into like a really fun experience, and I know I probably seem like I'm not having fun, but I am, believe me. Suffering is what I'm doing. So I'm using the pickaxes to expand my land. There we go, now we have more 4 and 4 slots, and there's the bats from before that I told you about. They will follow you to the ends of the earth. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this small look into Atomicrops. It truly is, honestly, one of my favorite games right now. It has so much replayability to it. Obviously, look at the hours that people have logged into Isaac. It's insane, you know, and I think they've been really responsive with everyone, the player base, and they already have a track for updates that they're going to do. The newest one looks really promising, adding just more and more stuff, and the game's already big as it is for an early access. Not to mention, like, it feels like a complete game as it is. So as of right now, I believe it's $20. It was $15 when it was on sale for the release, but with all the updates to come, I would say it's really, really worth it to pick it up and try it out. Or at least find someone who has it to try to give it a little shot. I mean, as far as roguelikes go, it is a shining example of the genre, and as far as farming games go, I think it's a shining example of the genre. It's really worth it, and I just honestly believe that people should give it a shot. So please support Atomicrops. Thank you.